G.I. Joe fans, Joe Motion Videos 82 here. It is time for another G.I. Joe toy review. Last week we looked at a very cool vehicle. I wasn't really sure just how popular it was until all the comments came rolling in. And man, do you guys love the Swamp Masher? I have to admit it, I do too. I mean, there are a lot of really cool features on it. It's a fun vehicle to have. I really enjoy having it as a part of my collection. And, you know, what kind of a reviewer or toy collector would I be if I did not take this outside and play with it? I mean, it would just be an absolute travesty, right? So I did take it outside, and I'll record a video of me doing that someday. Right now it's just a bit too hot. We're in the triple digits already. But I tested it over rocks, and the wheels did flip and rotate like they were supposed to. And is a very fun vehicle to play with. So this week we're going to be looking at another Joe vehicle. I had to flip a coin between the Cobra Bug and the Skyhawk, because I've been wanting to do those two vehicles because they were both a donation from Duke 45. So the Skyhawk won out. Vinny, I know you donated a lot of stuff to me, and I do apologize for not getting those to you, more of those reviews out. I promise you that those will be coming up. So the Skyhawk won out. So, as we all know, the Skyhawk was used throughout the Sunbow animated series. I mean, it was in practically every episode. It was one of those really cool vehicles. It's small. You fit three Joes onto it. The commercial, I tried to download and upload it onto this software, and it didn't work. So I'm sorry. I just love those ads. When I saw that ad, I just wow, they just had to have it. The kids were out on a stage, with this cool diorama that they were playing on, just made it look so cool. And then you get it home and you take it in your house or your backyard, and it's like, no, this isn't as cool as it looked like on TV, but it is still a very cool vehicle. So let's get into some of the demographics with it. This was, as I had aforementioned, released in 1984. And it stayed on the pegs until 1986, when it was discontinued. But the Skyhawk was available in 87 as a mail order premium, so you could get that from Hasbro Direct back then. So, going down the list, there were several other releases of the Skyhawk. One came out in 1986 as a part of the Dreadnought Air Assault pack that was released to Sears. It came with a Fang, the Skyhawk, and a Ram Cycle, and I am still kicking myself in the butt because I had seen at one of the Dreadnought Air Assault Skyhawk at a used vintage toy store. It was a little banged up, and I thought, no, and the guy was selling them for $40. My gosh, I should have grabbed it. But it was just one of those things. I thought it was just a little too banged up for my collection. But right now, at these prices, a banged up a banged up Dreadnought air assault in hand is better than none, right? So, lesson learned. So in 1990, we got the Sky Patrol Skyhawk, and then 2005 we were also given the Steel Brigade Skyhawk. And I'll pull up pictures of all that along with the box art. The original retail price on this was $3.29, just a little bit more than an action figure was selling for at the time. The action figures were $225 or $275. Yeah, $275. So this is just a few cents more, and you could get a very cool vehicle. I love these smalls. They were great for the lower income families, so your kids or even yourself could afford to buy one and just have a small vehicle to play with. I came from a pretty large family, and money was always tight growing up, so that's why I've learned to budget through life experiences, and learned a want from a need. So when we got a toy, outside of a birthday or a holiday, it was something really special because I knew my folks couldn't afford it, or really afford it. It was tough growing up, and those things, it builds character. I remember seeing kids from more affluent families just beating the heck out of their toys, and I'm thinking, what are you doing? Oh, we'll get another one. And I was thinking, oh man, that hurt. That hurt, It's like, you guys aren't respectful. One day you just might not have all this money. Your dad might get hurt and not be able to work anymore, heaven forbid, kind of thing. So anyway, before I get into this review, let me pull up those pictures for you. They are pretty cool. I had forgotten completely about the Steel Brigade Skyhawk. It looks like it was just a remodel from the Sky Patrol. They just didn't add the black to it, but anyway, it's cool nonetheless. So let me pull these up. Come on. Alright, so I really love the box art. I can't mention that enough, and I know all of you guys do too. It was very eye-catching, very appealing, and it was marketed that way. A lot of research goes into marketing on how to capture your eye. That's how things sell. There is something I would like to mention, having held the Dreadnought air assault. The plastic is has a different feel to it than what the Skyhawk does. It's a little softer plastic, so it is more prone to fracturing. So those of you who own those, take good care of them if you haven't done so already, and those who are planning on purchasing them, get ready to mortgage your house, because those things are just nuts in price. So the Skyhawk itself, let's take a look at it. There are some points that I need to focus on with this as well for you guys to take a look at. But the Sky Patrol, I'm glad that they had released the Skyhawk again. That gave kids a chance to purchase the Skyhawk that didn't get a chance to in '84. Maybe they were born in the late '80s and just starting to collect G.I. Joe in the '90s. It gave you a chance to get one, and I passed those up as I was about building up my action figure collection, just the action figures. Vehicles, I still had three other siblings living with me at that time. My oldest brother was married, so he was out of the house, but I still had to share a room with my kid brother, so there wasn't a lot of space to display a lot of vehicles. So we simply just didn't get them, or if they were small, they were easy enough to just put in a box and stick in the closet. So anyway, let's go ahead and well, before I mention my childhood memories, how could I forget this part? You guys love this part, and I love telling this story. The Skyhawk, of course, I played with it with my friend John. He happened to have two of them. He spent half of his time in Colorado with his dad, and the other half during the school year down here in Arizona with his mom. So during the summer and Christmas, he would go up to Colorado to visit his dad. And before school started, about a week before, he would come back down here to Arizona so he could get registered for his classes. And, we would have a sleepover, just to celebrate him being back. And, his mom just loved having me around. And I would visit her almost every day when he was gone, because I know she was lonely. It was just her. So she would take me out shopping and stuff, and we would just enjoy one another's company. And I'd do her yard work for her, and that's where I got a lot of my money. So when John came back one year, he brought his Skyhawk from his dad's house. So we had two of them to play with, and we had such a great time with them. The big problem was, and you guys will notice, the back fins would always fall off. But when we're playing, and during play, if one of the tail fins fell off, man, that thing spiraled out of control and crash. And so that little design flaw turned into part of our playtime. We had Duke and Scarlet piloting the Skyhawks. Whoever got Duke and whoever had Scarlet, they always went into the Skyhawk. So with that being said, who did you always have pilot your Skyhawk if you had one? Duke, I feel, looks the best in it. His color palette goes very well with it. He has the khaki shirt, green pants. It works well with it. They showed him a lot in the beginning of the Sunbow series flying it. And later, when Flint, in '85, when Flint started kind of taking over the role, he was the one that he and Lady J, you would see a lot in the Skyhawk and Snake Eyes. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into this review. Very excited to show this to you guys. Alright, so here it is, the Skyhawk. This is a beautiful looking vehicle. Theoretically, I think this might be able to fly. I'm not an aeronautics engineer, but I do think it might be able to fly. So taking a look at it, you can see that it's sort of a helicopter shape. It has the tail fins, a working canopy, got some dust in there from when I was dusting it off, a pilot couch there with a back peg in it. You see the hand control, some detail in there, not too much. Here on the side, when you close the canopy, it has no glass in it, but that was okay. It says Lieutenant Frederick Bama. He is a double ace with one more kill, so he has 11 kills. So whoever this man was, he certainly knew how to pilot this bad boy. You can see the rescue stickers with the rescue hatch, latches to get the canopy open. Of course, danger sticker, because this is a cannon. And on this side, more rescue stickers. Pardon me, there's a little bit of dirt on there and some dust. I know I've read comments on other people's channel, saying, "Oh, you could at least dust your vehicle," and I do apologize. I did my best to get all the dust off of it, aside from storing it in a bag. So here on the side has G.I. Joe, has their star, and on the rails here, on the skids, you can see they're kind of loose. That's a problem, because they slot right into the bottom here. Those have been known to fall off. This is made out of a softer plastic. The foot peg right here is a little thick, so I would be careful putting your Joes onto them, because those can break off. And as I had mentioned, that the tail fins come off real easy. You can see the scratch marks from sliding it in, but it just frictions in to this little hole right there. So you can see it just slides right on in there. You can see a little bit of stress weakening right there from moving it in and out. It has a tail fin on it, but this is known as a VTOL, a vertical takeoff and landing. The engines will rotate down, and that creates thrust to lift it up, then rotates forward, and so the vehicle could fly. But look in the inside here, you can see the turbines. Not too bad. Also, a point of problem, sorry, didn't mean to get that off camera, are these pegs, or not really pegs, but clips. These have a tendency to break. So you'll find some of these on the aftermarket where they break off, and it'd be really tough to get them put back together. I'd lightly take this out. This is made out of a softer plastic, so if you have your vamp available, this is made from the same plastic that the vamp's main gun is made from. And as you can see, over time, this gets worn down in there. So the engine itself, I'm not going to put pressure on the skids, but the engines themselves become loose, and very difficult to for them to stay in place, as you can see. And we have a sticker right here. It says Danger Jet Blast. Comes with 2 Sparrow missiles, I believe, that these are designed to look like. These kind of look like the missiles that go on the Dragonfly, but they are not. Very long, thin missile. Has a dumbbell peg here on the bottom, which it slots right onto that peg, and it's not as hard as the getting it on as it is with the modern and vintage Cobra Fang. Watch HCC 788. Watch him assemble the modern Fang. He really had a rough time with with the missiles, and I could see why, because those things just fall off. Here on the bottom, it also has a rotating cannon, or not rotating, but pivoting, made again of that softer plastic. But I want to warn you guys, don't put a lot of pressure on the skids. I do have another version of the Skyhawk that I had purchased, that the skid was broken, and the guy had repaired it with glue and put a screw through it. So that's my backup for parts for this one. But otherwise, this is in pretty good condition. Some of the stickers could use a little cleaning up. Form BX257 has a very good video on how to clean up the stickers. So anyway, just look at the detail on this. It is absolutely beautiful. Well, there is some dust that I missed. I apologize for that. I use a soft paintbrush to remove the dust. But just the detail on this is absolutely beautiful. And I wished on the modern version, they would have had some glass that you could just somehow snap into there. But the canopy, it stays up very well. But this is such a fun little vehicle. It fits 3 Joes, 1 on each skid and 1 to pilot, but I would not want to be the guy sitting on the skid, especially if a missile launches. I mean, you'll get the backblast from it. So hey, that's perfect. Put backblast on there. He's armored for it. So correction, it wasn't backblast. Fast Draw, who came out in '87, has a very cool armor, because he does have a rocket firing backpack. So he would be perfect to put on there and not have to worry about him getting too banged up or blown off. I would certainly not want to fly on that thing, on those skids, without wearing goggles or anything. Is at certain speeds, you know, your eyes will just dry out. If you're going too fast, eyelids will peel back, and that I got that information from a video I had seen about an A6 pilot there, and his actually it was his crewmate, the bombardier. The bombardier's ejection seat malfunctioned, and he shot up out of the canopy, but it didn't fully eject him. So the pilot had to fly with his partner, his buddy, still attached to the seat, sticking up out of the jet. The guy had lost his helmet, his oxygen mask. He had passed out. His uniform was tattered. And when they finally landed, fortunately the bombardier survived. I think this was on the History Channel. But his eyelids were peeled back and his eyes were pretty messed up, and I think he lost some of his vision from that, but the docs managed to get his eyelids back down, and but anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about the Skyhawk. So even though the idea of putting Joes on the skids was so cool as a kid, but as an adult we think of things a little more practically, right? I mean, the Tigerfly, the Dragonfly, and how this vehicle, you know, there are several air vehicles where you can put a man on the skids, and we paid no attention to it and just had a heck of a lot of fun with it. And you know what? Who cares? Your imagination is limitless, and I have a great time owning this. I do have a big enough plastic bag now where I could put this in and just hang it up on the wall so it won't get dusty. Speaking of Dusty, I will be reviewing him since it's summertime, and I will go up to my favorite mountain and we will review Dusty. But anyway, that's just down the road. So you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate the support on this channel. You guys are fantastic. I cannot thank you enough. My numbers are growing, and seeing that, it does bring me a lot of joy. It is humbling seeing that happen. And for those of you who have a public channel, your channel is made public, when I see your subscription, I subscribe back to let you know, hey, I've seen your subscription, but if it's not public, sorry, I can't subscribe back to you. YouTube just would not allow that. But everybody who does subscribe is eligible for a giveaway. So when I do reach 600, I'll be giving away a RAM cycle Cobra Island RAM with breaker. So hold on to your knickers for that one. And thank you for those who watch Monster Monday. The Count is in coffin right now, sound asleep. So he is grateful. He wanted me to pass that on to you guys. That he's very thankful for those of you who do watch. I know horror action figures aren't everybody's cup of tea. So he wants you guys to know that he does appreciate you watching. And I appreciate the support that you give him. I know he has a lot of fun doing this, and he loves the fact that he could actually show up on a camera. You know, yeah, for some reason the camera works, but the mirror won't. So he can finally see himself after 348 years. So he loves it. So anyway, thank you guys very much for tuning in. For your subscriptions, please give this a thumbs up. That sends YouTube notification that these videos are appreciated, and that helps the channel get more recognition. It advertises automatically, where if you scroll down at the bottom, you'll see me pop up. Like if you're watching somebody else's G.I. Joe channel, and there's so many of them out there, my videos will start popping up under there too. So thank you guys in advance for that, and for your subscriptions. Please share this video if you so choose to. That also really helps out. And remember, as always, be kind to everyone. You never know what kind of day somebody is having. The slightest gesture of kindness goes a very, very long way. Having experienced that myself, I can say yes. You know, if you're having a terrible day and somebody just smiles at you or says hi, it does lift your spirits. And remember, always be kind to animals. They know nothing but unconditional love. They're beautiful creatures, both wild and domestic. I just love animals. I always have. So you guys take care. Stay safe out there. And we'll see you next week for another G.I. Joe toy review. Until then, bye-bye.